In war, victories can hide fatal weaknesses. By 1940, Nazi Germany seemed unstoppable. Poland had fallen in weeks. France, one of Europe's strongest military powers, collapsed in just 46 days. Much of Europe stood under German control, and Adolf Hitler appeared invincible. But beneath the surface, Germany faced a problem that would eventually destroy everything it had built. It wasn't simply military defeat, it wasn't a lack of courage, and it wasn't even the Allied landings in Normandy. Germany lost because it was fighting against something no army can defeat forever: time itself. This is the story of why Nazi Germany ran out of time. Early victories created an illusion. Germany's early successes were astonishing. The strategy known as Blitzkrieg shocked the world. Fast-moving tanks, coordinated air attacks, and highly trained soldiers overwhelmed opponents before they could react. The campaigns in Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and France seemed almost effortless. Many believed Hitler had discovered a revolutionary way of winning wars. But Blitzkrieg had a hidden weakness. It was designed for short wars. Germany lacked the economic resources needed for a prolonged global conflict. Unlike the United States, Germany had limited access to oil. Unlike the Soviet Union, Germany lacked vast reserves of manpower. Unlike Britain, Germany possessed no worldwide empire providing endless supplies. German planners assumed future wars would be quick. Enemies would collapse rapidly. Resources captured from conquered territories would sustain the German economy. As long as victories came quickly, the system worked. But once the war dragged on, Germany's weaknesses became increasingly visible, and time began working against Hitler. The Battle of Britain after France fell in 1940, Hitler expected Britain to negotiate peace. Instead, Britain refused. Under Prime Minister Winston Churchill, Britain continued fighting. Germany launched an air campaign intended to destroy the British Air Force. The plan seemed reasonable. Without air superiority, an invasion of Britain would be impossible. Yet Germany underestimated British determination. British radar systems provided early warning. Pilots fought relentlessly. Factories replaced aircraft losses faster than Germany anticipated. The air campaign stretched for months. German aircraft losses mounted. Eventually, Hitler abandoned plans for invasion. Britain survived, and that changed everything. For the first time, Germany discovered that not every opponent would collapse quickly. The clock kept ticking. Operation Barbarossa. In June 1941, Hitler made perhaps the most consequential decision of the war. He invaded the Soviet Union. The operation involved more than 3 million German soldiers, thousands of tanks, thousands of aircraft. It was the largest invasion in human history. German commanders expected victory within months. Many believed the Soviet Union would collapse before winter. At first, events seemed to confirm their optimism. Entire Soviet armies were surrounded. Millions of prisoners were captured. German forces advanced hundreds of miles, but the Soviet Union was far larger than anticipated. Each destroyed army was replaced. Factories were moved eastward beyond German reach. Fresh divisions appeared continuously. Then winter arrived. German soldiers lacked proper equipment. Vehicles failed. Supply lines stretched across enormous distances. The war that was supposed to end quickly transformed into a long struggle of attrition. Exactly the kind of war Germany could not afford. Germany was no longer racing toward victory, it was racing against time. America enters the war. December 1941 marked another turning point. After Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, the United States entered the conflict. Soon afterward, Hitler declared war on America. It was a decision many historians consider catastrophic. America possessed industrial power unlike anything the world had ever seen. American factories produced tanks in staggering numbers. Aircraft rolled off assembly lines daily. Ships were built faster than German submarines could sink them. While Germany struggled with shortages, America expanded production continuously. By 1944, Allied industry vastly exceeded German capabilities. Germany attempted to compensate with advanced technology, jet fighters, rocket weapons, improved tanks. But technological superiority could not overcome overwhelming production. Germany might produce hundreds. Its enemies produced thousands. Every passing month strengthened the Allies. Every passing month weakened Germany. Time was no longer neutral. It had become Germany's enemy. Oil, the resource. Germany could never secure modern warfare depends on fuel. Tanks require fuel. Aircraft require fuel. Trucks require fuel. Without oil, armies stop moving. Germany never possessed enough. Before the war, Germany imported much of its oil. During the conflict, access became increasingly limited. Romanian oil fields provided assistance, but supplies remained insufficient. Hitler hoped to capture Soviet oil reserves in the Caucasus. This objective partly motivated the 1942 offensive toward southern Russia. But German forces failed. The campaign culminated in the disaster at Battle of Stalingrad. Afterward, Germany's fuel situation worsened dramatically. By 1944, Allied bombers targeted synthetic fuel plants. Production collapsed. Pilots received reduced training. Tank crews lacked fuel for exercises. Vehicles sat idle. Some of Germany's most powerful weapons became nearly useless, not because they were destroyed, but because they could not move. Germany was running out of oil and running out of time. The war of attrition, Germany's military losses, were devastating. Experienced soldiers died faster than they could be replaced. Veteran pilots disappeared. Elite armored crews vanished. Officers with years of battlefield experience were killed. New recruits often received minimal training. Young teenagers joined combat units. Older men returned to service. Quality steadily declined. Meanwhile, Allied armies improved continuously. American troops gained combat experience. British forces refined tactics. Soviet commanders learned from earlier defeats. The balance shifted. Germany still fought fiercely, but every battle consumed resources that could never fully be replaced. At Battle of Kursk, Germany lost irreplaceable tanks. At Normandy, experienced units suffered enormous casualties. On the Eastern Front, entire formations disappeared. Each defeat reduced Germany's future options. The nation could still fight, but it could no longer recover. Too many enemies, Germany eventually faced a coalition unlike any in history. Britain controlled global trade routes. The Soviet Union possessed immense manpower reserves. America dominated industrial production. Together, these powers represented enormous economic strength. Germany simply could not match them indefinitely. The longer the war lasted, the more certain Germany's defeat became. German leaders understood this reality. Some hoped for divisions among the Allies. Others expected secret weapons to reverse the situation. But such hopes never materialized. Instead, Allied cooperation increased. Combined offensives pressured Germany from every direction. Bombing campaigns devastated cities. Factories were destroyed. Transportation networks collapsed. Supplies became increasingly difficult to move. The German war machine slowed and eventually began falling apart. The final months. By 1945, defeat was unavoidable. Soviet armies advanced from the east. Western allies approached from the west. German cities lay in ruins. Fuel reserves were nearly exhausted. Factories struggled to function. Communication systems failed. Yet many soldiers continued fighting. Some believed victory remained possible. Others fought simply to survive. But reality could not be ignored. Germany had gambled everything on winning quickly. When quick victory proved impossible, the foundation of Hitler's strategy collapsed. The nation lacked the resources for a long industrial war. Its enemies possessed greater manpower, greater production, greater access to resources, and perhaps most importantly, they possessed more time. Conclusion. Nazi Germany did not lose because its soldiers lacked courage. It did not lose solely because of one battle, nor because of a single mistake. Germany lost because its entire strategy depended on speed. Rapid victories, short campaigns, quick collapses, when Britain resisted, when the Soviet Union endured, when America entered the war, the conflict became a contest of endurance, and endurance favored Germany's enemies. In the end, Nazi Germany discovered a harsh truth that has shaped warfare throughout history. Even the strongest army cannot survive forever if it is fighting against time itself. Because in World War II, Germany's greatest enemy was not a nation. Modern warfare depends on fuel. Tanks require fuel. Aircraft require fuel. Trucks require fuel. Without oil, armies stopped moving. Germany never possessed enough. Before the war, Germany imported much of its oil. During the conflict, access became increasingly limited. Romanian oil fields provided assistance, but supplies remained insufficient. Hitler hoped to capture Soviet oil reserves in the Caucasus. This objective partly motivated the 1942 offensive toward southern Russia. But German forces failed. The campaign culminated in the disaster at Battle of Stalingrad. Afterward, Germany's fuel situation worsened dramatically. By 1944, Allied bombers targeted synthetic fuel plants. Production collapsed. Pilots received reduced training. Tank crews lacked fuel for exercises. Vehicles sat idle. Some of Germany's most powerful weapons became nearly useless. Not because they were destroyed, but because they could not move. Germany was running out of oil and running out of time.